Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I hope that you'll stick around and stay. If you are coming back, thank you. I just love y'all so much. Okay, so today's video is a little bit different. If you're here for my Bible journaling process, the date stamp will be down below. If you're here from the His Palette Facebook challenge, then the first part of this video is just sharing some of her printables. And I had to fast forward this because I had an hour-long video, so I'm voiceovering it, so hence my hands aren't matching my mouth. I gotta figure that out. But the challenge is 3 sets, 1 page. And here I'm just kind of showing how I'm using this one set. So this was a freebie. Part of the reason you need to be in the Facebook group. If you're not part of the Facebook group, go over there, request, answer some questions, and join. That little bird in the music notes, I believe that was a freebie from the His Palette Yahoo Mail, or not Yahoo Mail, but just email. So sign up for that. That was a little bit of the Advent kit. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of going through some of my favorite Christmas sets. This one is called His Presents, and Kimberly has about 25 Christmas printables in her shop, and she has 435 on my last count of all different types of printables. So this collection is like 6 or 7 different sets of watercolor, and I think they're beautiful. I used some of it last year, and I'm going to be incorporating some of it today into my page. And then here's another really beautiful set, and this one's called Herald Angels. I love the scenic. I have this printed on cardstock because I have an idea of what I want to do with it. Here's some beautiful stained glass florals, and I'm sorry those got out of frame, but I have these out because I think they came out in the fall, but I think about like Christmas in the churches with the stained glass, and I just think they'd be really beautiful. This is a brand new set this year, and it's called Wings, and it is stunning. So it has the birds, it has holly berries, it has some pine cones, it has pomegranates, and this is one where I'm going to pull the birds out and use them all year round. Then these little cuties are called Angels Monochrome, and if you see anything clipped off there at the end, that's my printer. I didn't set it right, so that won't happen with your stuff. The little music notes was called Psalms, and then I just wanted to share that she has a variety of worship girls, and these ones were called Sisters Unique. There's a couple sets of them, and they were one of the first things I printed, hence the weird sticker paper. And then here's some doors, another set that I have. I'm going to be using that for the new year. And then this is Childlike Faith, which I am focusing on today. So you can find all of His Palette sets on Etsy. I will have the link below. And then if you're here for the challenge, it's 3 sets, 1 page. I'm going to be sharing a Bible journaling process with 4 sets. I tend to do this with Kimberly sets because there are so many of them, and I really like to mix and match stuff. And I'm really excited to see what everyone does. Here's a set that I didn't share, and it's like this really engineered look of Jesus. So let's get going. Okay, so the centerpiece or the focal point of my page is going to be this little girl, and I'm using her from a set called Childlike Faith. This is a 3-page set in the His Palette shop, and we're going to focus in on Matthew 18 and a little bit of Luke as well as Mark, and I will share about that in a minute. This page right here, I love so much. I've used this a few times, and this was a freebie that Kimberly uploaded in the His Palette Facebook group. So if you're not a member of the group, head on over there and request to be a member. You just have to answer a few questions, and there's 3,000 of us in that group. I'm part of the admin over there, and we always like to welcome new members and just keep up with you. There's a lot of great ladies on the His Palette team that do lots of different things over there, like lives and studies. So it's a pretty cool group to be a part of. So now we're into a set called His Presents, and I'm looking to cut out the actual presents of this kit, and then I thought I would maybe use the bows and that little yellow gift. Now here's my 4th set, and this one is called The Road, and that was the one that had the little VW bugs on it, and I just wanted to get some of the swag off of that. So now I'm set up to go into my Bible, and I know what I want to do here. I'm focusing in on Matthew 18, 2 through 4. I'm using my NLT journaling Bible. This is from Tyndale House, and I love it. It has clear, white, crisp, clean paper or pages. And as you can see here, this was a full 8.5 by 11 page, and I'm cutting out what I want from it. I really want the blue to be the background, so it's almost like, I don't know, clouds, but it's not clouds. I don't know. It's just this really pretty background. And I want the girl to be in front of it, and then I'm going to wrap her in some presents, and I'll explain the reason why for all that. But as you can see, that blue went on there, and it's just beautiful. I love it so much. I always keep my leftover paper if there's any significant amount of it, or if, something's accidentally printed, like on this page, so I can put stuff on the paper. I'm sure we all do that, but just in case you don't, I do it because I can't afford to just have a brand new piece of paper every single time, let's be honest. But I'm putting her on white cardstock for a reason, and I'm going to come back and share that. But while I'm working through this part, let me just share the verses that I'm focused on, and they are Matthew 18, 2 through 4. And it says, Jesus called a little child to him and put the child among them. Then he said, I tell you the truth, unless you turn from your sins and become like little children, you will never get into the kingdom of heaven. So anyone who becomes as humble as this little child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And these verses are mentioned again in Luke 18, 15 through 17, as well as Mark 10, 14 through 15. So this was something that was so powerful that it's written in the Bible a few times, that it was documented a few times. And you think about children and just how sweet and sensitive and compassionate they are as little kids. And Jesus is flat out pointing this out and saying, if you do not humble yourself like a child, you will not get into the kingdom of heaven. So to go on from 18:4, Matthew 18:4, it says, and anyone who welcomes a little child like this on my behalf is welcoming me. But if you cause one of these little ones who trust in me to fall into sin, it would be better for you to have a large millstone tied around your neck and be drowned in the depths of the sea. And wow, that is a beware in my Bible. I have red tags that are like warnings from Jesus, and that's a warning, like, treat children with compassion and love and teach them about me, as in Jesus, or you could end up in the deep, dark ocean, which is a terrifying thought, especially because I have a fear of drowning. So just in general, like, obviously we don't know if that's going to exactly happen, but he's flat out giving us a warning. So I'm going to come back to that in a second. Here I'm taking the verse that was on the set and I'm cutting it apart because I want it to be on the right-hand side of this page. It is black font, so I'm going to just go and I'm going to start sticking these down. This took a little bit of time, but I believe in taking time when you have an idea or you're prompted to go in your Bible and do something or to share something. So, take the time, do what you want to do, move it around 65 times like I do and figure it out. So the reason I put her on white cardstock is, first I thought I was going to make her a pocket, like bring it in on the right side, have a little hidden Bible journaling space. But then I decided as I got into this that there'd be more space for me to go in and write underneath of her. So instead of making, I guess this is a tip-in, but it's just going from the bottom to the top. So I put her in with clear Scotch tape, and then I also just put a little bit of tape runner on the right side of the presents, and now I'm taping that down so she folds over and I can get in there. And then these bows, I took them from the clear sticker paper, I put them onto white cardstock, and now you're just going to see me come in here and put some final touches. This is where I want to put some swag at the top. The present and the candy cane are hanging. You can see strings, so I'm putting some swag up there. I wanted some green. I knew this page needed a little bit more color. So while I'm doing this, I wanted to talk a little bit more about childlike faith and why I really chose this. It's because, like, we think about children and the faith that they have in Christmas morning and what's happening Christmas morning. Like, you hear people talk about, oh my gosh, it was like Christmas morning. Like, and they'll talk about that throughout the year. And the reality is that's because Christmas morning is lots of gifts and it's fun and it's exciting. And then, the next day it's done, but you have a bunch of new stuff. But then down the road, at some point in time, people learn, and I'm trying not to say this in case any little ears around, but you learn different things. But the one thing that you will never be able to take away from a child is knowing what the true meaning of Christmas is. Like, where our true joy comes from. So they may learn something else, around who knows what age, but when they come to ask you about, okay, well, what is, Christmas really about? And you can say, well, this was always true. It was the birth of Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ was put on this earth to save us all and give us an opportunity for redemption. And I can't say that I wish I grew up like that, because I don't want to go back and, say that my parents did anything wrong. Like, we just didn't go to church. So the meaning of Christmas was presents under the tree, and that's okay. Like, God knows our hearts. And I just think if we could teach our kids to have the faith that they have in what's coming Christmas morning, or like that elf on the shelf, that little magical elf that if you touch it, it takes the magic out of it. And you see kids like taking tongs to it because they don't want the magic to come out of it. Like, let's teach our kids and like adults in general what Christmas really is, and like how if we misbehave in Jesus's eyes, then that takes the magic out of life, essentially. Like, we are all working towards eternal life. It is, I believe it's not actually 100% given. I believe that Jesus saved us all when he died on the cross, but I still think there's work to do. And I could be wrong, and this is just my opinion. And again, I'm a newer Christian. It's only been a handful of years. So if you think anything different, please let me know below. I know different religions think different things, but I'm a non-denominational Christian. So that just kind of gives you my background. But yeah, I think that we need to do work. And just like Jesus is saying, every child needs to be welcome. They are the kingdom of heaven. Like, he points out specific things in the Bible that we have to do. And as adults, we have to guide the children around us. Or if you're the only Christian in your family that reads the Bible, then you have to be the example. So I'm probably getting off on a massive tangent here, but that's the reason I chose to go with Childlike Faith, which is the name of the kit, which has this girl in it, for this page, and bring her into Christmas. I just wanted to add one more thing in here about, Jesus pointing out that you need to humble yourself like a little child and have their faith. I grew up an athlete. I married an athlete. I have a daughter who's an athlete. So we've been around athletes, and it's very humbling to be an athlete. I think it's a great way to bring up a child is to put them into competition, because they're going to lose games and they're going to struggle. And I did it. My husband did it. My daughter did it. And who knew that God was preparing us for the Bible? Like, to be humble towards him, to be humble towards other people, to be God-fearing. Like, he was working in our lives way before we were working in our own lives towards our love and faith towards him. It just goes to show what an incredible God we have, and how he is looking out for us. And so I think about little kids and how he looks out for little kids, and how I can see like children who are raised in faith by good parents that just are kind and humble. Like, they're a different specimen than a child that, was raised not in faith. Not that the child that wasn't raised in faith wasn't a good kid, because I wasn't raised with faith. My brother wasn't raised with faith, and we still are, good people. But it's just it's just very different. And I don't really know how else to say that. Like, we got our daughter into church when she was very young, but we weren't Christians. But we had faith enough because for her, like, we felt that she deserved to be saved, but we didn't deserve to be saved. We were too far past it, which is crazy now that I think about it. But we have the most loving, kind, caring daughter, and I have to think part of that is because she went to Vacation Bible School and was around people that believed in Jesus Christ. And I don't know if that's 100% true, but I have to believe that. So enough of my ranting. I'm not ranting, but my sharing. I like to share. I think it's good. But here is the example of me taking clear sticker paper. So this was an extra piece off of this set, the Childlike Faith set. And what I'm doing is I'm writing on this, and then I'm going to stick it in my Bible. And it's a really good way to journal without having to worry about what's underneath of it. Like, if I would have gone in here and journaled, I'd have to worry about where my clear sticker paper was at. I'd be journaling over the words and it wouldn't show up. And I really wanted my prayer to show up in here. So that's a little tip. And for some reason, my pens, and I use like a Tombow marker, I think it's a lettering pen, but it writes so nicely on the clear sticker paper, so I save a lot of that and I do it that way. So a little tip. Now I'm just going in and I'm date stamping this, and I'm going to wrap this up with putting like a little, I think I put ribbon on the right side of her. I was going to put some up at the top and it just didn't look right. So I hope you all understood what I was trying to say. I hope that you'll check out his palette shop. She has over 435, or maybe it's exactly 435 printables in there. I just love her to death, and I shouldn't say to death. I just love her very much. And I hope that you enjoyed this, and I really think this page turned out cute. I've used this little girl on other pages, and I love her so much. I just think she's got the wide eyes, and she's just looking and waiting for someone to teach her about Jesus. Like, she's just eager to hear. It's like she's at his feet listening. So I hope everyone is doing well. We're in the middle of Advent now, and Christmas is upon us. So God bless you all. I hope you're happy, healthy, and safe, and I will see you soon.